a lot about this venue, the accessibility of like drinks in general.
You know what's
nice.
you know what's incredible? It's not that hot. It's the middle of the summer. You like walk inside and there's 100 people here, or however much. I don't know if there are that many.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
that's
here.
Probably
There's like at least like 60
no
or 70
room.
in the room.
They got yeah, they have like these big fans up and stuff.
Lots
and
of air conditioning.
they know exactly how to take care of everybody. The door's open.
When I got here at like 8:30 in the morning, it was actually like freezing cold in here because it was only me, Moosh, and Penne in the venue. So all the fans were going at like the same, and it was just so cold. I was like, oh my god! But when 80 people are, they were prepared. They knew this would happen. But yeah, good stuff to the TOs. Good stuff to the venue just being sick in general.
I see.
Aperture. Good stuff to everybody who made top 8. Bambi was in winter semis. So
yes,
God Touch is in winners finals now.
Yes, he is.
Impressive, considering I had no idea who he was.
God Touch from the beginning was my pick to win the tournament.
Really?
Yes, I played him at Apex 2016. I was just playing friendlies. I was just playing friendlies with people, and this guy comes up, and he's God Touch is a big personality, good Fox player, obviously. So he's hard to forget.
I saw his pop off was like strong. I was like, ooh.
And it was just like. This guy was first off a Texaco monster, which when you're a Spacey is like a sign that you could be really good, right?
Yeah.
And then each game is getting a little smarter and a little smarter, and I'm like, this guy's going to be good.
Yeah.
And here he is at the Arcadian, a couple years later.
He has that good potential.
Puff Dittos.
Puff Dittos.
This matchup is 10-10.
Is this winners? Wait.
We have Cascade.
I thought Cascade lost. Oh, no, that was pools.
Yeah, that was in pools.
Oh, so he's just made the run anyways. Okay,
it makes sense.
Impressive.
Cascade was a lot of people's pick to win the tournament, or at least make it very far.
Yeah, he was top 2 seed?
Here's the thing. Cascade, the rest master, very good at resting Spaceys. There's like 2 Foxes in this whole tournament.
Yeah, it's like a lot of Marths. Skins of Sheik. There's Samuses.
It's an Arcadian, right?
Yeah, it's an Arcadian, yeah.
It's just the way it goes.
There are still a good amount of Spaceys, though. I mean, there's... maybe not. There's Ragnite, there's Rice. But they, I know Rice lost the Luigis.
Yep.
And Fish Sticks has been playing mostly Marth. But yeah, other than those guys. And then John Cotto. John Cotto played with Falco.
Just to make it clear to all the viewers, Cascade is the user of the neutral puff. It's his favorite color. Aperture has been using the green headband all day.
All right.
Look how they start on Dreamland.
Cascade, earlier, he was playing Puff Dittos against Hot Mash.
I saw that.
It was like a really close set.
Yeah, I don't think it's his strong suit.
Yeah, he's definitely been known for his like rest setups, and this is definitely a matchup where there are virtually none.
Yeah, there's like a couple kinds of puffs out there, and really it comes down to you have like your positional puffs, and then you have your puffs who are very tactically sharp. He's one of the tactically sharp ones.
I would
any
100%
moment,
agree.
At any moment, even in floating matchups, it feels like he can just scoop you up and do a ton of damage, and that's not really very potent in Puff Dittos.
Oh yeah.
It's one back air like that, they fly across the stage, and you do it again. So probably a good call from Aperture to pick a large stage like this to further...
To mitigate his strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
And he finds himself up 50%. One stock is not a lead, they say. In Puff Dittos, 10%'s a lead.
Yeah.
Anything's a lead in Puff Dittos.
Puff Dittos, they're just so slow. You kind of just get... you get a huge advantage from being in the lead in this matchup in a way that like Spaceys don't really deal with, like Marths and like, because most of the other characters are fast-paced enough that you can kind of just like
there can always
destroy a bunch of stocks in a row. But this match, oh my god, you see but like people are like, oh, this Puff's doing well against H-Box. But H-Box always ends up like 2 or 3 stocking them anyways. Like, even if it looks close at the beginning.
It's just a slow grind, and he comes out on top every time.
And he's usually just ahead the whole time anyways.
And, I mean, you can see Aperture, it doesn't feel like he's destroying Cascade, but if you just look at the stock count and account for the fact this is a Puff Ditto, he's destroying him.
Yeah,
he's winning by a lot.
He has a pretty massive lead right now.
And so the big difference I've seen is look at that situation right there.
Yeah.
And then... So one Puff is outside like the little triangle that the platforms face, either really high or really outside. When Aperture's in that position, he ends up either KOing Cascade or putting on a ton of damage. Cascade will often like reach just a little too far. He stays on the borderline between like the safe zone and the like outside the Bermuda Triangle, right, where those platforms are. And like he's sort of overextending a little bit, and he's not able to keep Aperture from getting down. He doesn't keep putting on as much damage, and that's your substitute for combos in a floating matchup like this.
I also don't know. I saw, did Aperture do a down air up smash?
He did, yes.
I don't think Cascade has really gone for any of that. He's mostly just been trying to poke with this fair and bear. Oh, there we go. Nice little
Yeah,
I guess cross.
It's a cross up. Yeah. Which is pretty cool to see from Puff, and it makes sense. I mean, the aerial drift is nutty from Puff. So
yeah, that was good. I like that.
And that's, a sharp tactical play, which is Cascade's specialty.
Yeah, there you go. It's still winnable, but he's going to have to play super, super safe. He can't really let Aperture get in above him the way he has been. Getting above him, back airing him.
Yeah, that nair you see from Cascade is usually a pretty big tool in the Puff Ditto. Neither of them have been utilizing it to that much effect. That's a really good way to get down, not just with the fair, but with that neutral air, and you sort of fast fall it down.
It's been kind of like a stereotypical like Puff Ditto in the sense that it's just a lot of fair and back air spacing from the two of them. Like they're just kind of going back and forth like that.
Yeah, and so like Puff has really good horizontal aerial mobility, and that like defines her as a character. What also defines her as a character is she actually has pretty bad vertical aerial mobility. Yeah. So if either of these parties, and you can see Aperture is now using up airs, trying to take advantage of that fact.
Up air is also a really reliable killing tool, because Puff, once she's at like I want to say like 120, it's like even on this stage is killing off the top platform at least. Yeah. It's a good tool in this Ditto.
So like the two places you want to be if you're Jiggly, like, so if you're a Puff that's
we're back on Dreamland?
Oh, yeah, that's how we do it.
Oh, boy.
If you're a Puff and you're above somebody, there's really two ways it can work out. If you're the one underneath, you want to get right underneath them because they don't have anything that can test the up air. But if you're the one on top, you want to get to the side because all of a sudden your back air is going to be able to poke them and their back air will go right under you. So it's a pretty interesting interaction.
A lot of the time they'll back air like right above them, like diagonally. It's a really good position to back air from.
Yep, if you're slightly higher than them, that's a really good place to be.
That's the best.
And that's why you see when two Puffs land at the same time, a lot of the times they race to get up because whoever gets higher first is going to be the one who wins the back air war right there. And then after you get the back air, assuming they're at a high enough percent, that's when you see this circumstance. This time Cascade manages to find his way back down, but not for long. But see, Aperture got the back air, and now he's the one who has Puff in the combo, so to speak, like the combo substitute.
Ooh, I think Cascade's out of jumps. Yep.
Yeah, so, as a Puff man, I guess
he's still made it back.
I didn't expect the fair.
I didn't expect him to up smash out of Cascade's dare. That was interesting.
Wow, what a play.
He gets another up smash.
Yeah, so, like, if Aperture were in Cascade's position there, he would have gone back to the center a little bit, continued to play the percent game. Cascade gets that kill right then and there. He sort of baits out and out of shield option by doing a fadeaway up air and gets the up smash on him.
All right, now
I want to apologize now. I sort of tore up my voice cheering for Delaware a little bit, so we'll make it.
No, you're good.
We'll make it.
I feel like the pacing's going to change now that Cascade has a slight lead, but it was closed fast, so maybe not. Saw for a second he was like kind of hovering around in the air way above the platforms, just kind of trying to get back to the ground slowly.
Okay, so it looks like Cascade has this idea now. We've seen him like dashing and running around a little bit. It looks like he's trying to get under Aperture, maybe with an up tilt or an up smash. We'll see if that strategy pans out and exactly what he's looking for, because I didn't really see anything that was weak to that. And Aperture seems like he noticed it immediately, and he's going to those low bears and the nair to come down. All right, Aperture gets the up smash, able to take the lead.
Okay.
Yep, and you can see Cascade trying to do the same play he did before, bait him out of shield and then use an up smash.
But it does not work this time.
Cascade
go for up airs now,
Cascade, as a sharp tactical player, is someone who will pick up on your defensive adjustments very quickly. I know for a fact that he's noted that was a roll, and next time he's going to be ready to either forward smash the other direction or take a jump inward. So we'll look out for that if that comes up again.
Yep. He's really good at these down air conversions, Aperture.
Yeah, he's good at the down airs, and I mean, what's mostly
that's something underrated for Puff, I think. Like, it's a lot harder to execute than people realize.
I can't do it.
I can't do it either. It's hard.
Honestly, I've never done one. I don't try that often because I barely play Puff. But
yeah, but when you do, it's not that simple. So that's good from him.
Yeah,
I haven't really seen that from Cascade, but he hasn't really gone for it either. So I don't know.
I feel like he can do it because he's definitely drill grabbed me a bunch of times.
Yeah,
and that's like
grab.
the same timing, right? You just L cancel, then.
Yeah, it shouldn't be any different.
It's got to press a different button.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like Cascade, when he's in that position in the center stage, he doesn't really know what to do to punish Aperture and stop him from getting back in. That time he tried to get a little bit above him with a back air. And look, when Aperture's in the same position, Cascade has a hard time finding a real way down. Like, he got a little bit of a down air, and Cascade felt like... Who was it? I read a book. Was it Daigo's book? I don't know. Someone said that in fighting games, the advantage often goes to the person who doesn't feel like they have to approach.
That makes sense.
And Aperture, I feel like, is not the one who feels like he has to approach right now. Metal Reaper, what a legend.
Bobby, I love you. Bobby's the best.
It's okay, sweet prince.
But
here's your food, sire.
Whoa! He opens the cheese sauce.
I don't need the cheese.
Cheese sauce, boy.
I appreciate the cheese sauce though.
I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, so Cascade doing a lot of short hop back airs. He's just taking one little hop. A mix-up in like any puff matchup is something you should look out for no matter what character you are. Look at like how high they jump. A lot of puffs will just do a short hop into a back air or just a full hop in a back air. And there only sort of a couple rotations they go through. When you get to be a really good puff, you'll see sometimes they'll do a double jump, sometimes they'll do 2 double jumps. Occasionally they'll do a short hop and then a double jump. And that way you don't ever really know how high they're going to go and when they're going to come down. Okay. But if you can pick up on that pattern, that's really strong for any character, especially if you're a Jigglypuff who can chase them down in the air so easily.
Absolutely. Cascade's been doing well this last stock. He's just kind of running all over him.
All right, and it really looks like Cascade's been finding he's been finding himself right above Aperture, which sounds dangerous based on what we were talking about from the up air before.
Yep.
But he's doing it in a way.
And he's also at low percent, so up air's not really a threat for him right now. He can afford to get hit by like an up air.
And even if he did get hit by the up air, or I mean, even if the up air was going to be dangerous, there's not enough time. It's the slowest aerial for Puff, right? So there's not enough time. So he's finding himself like weaving over the top of Aperture as he's shielding or dashing, running away, getting ready to jump, and using a downer or a nair to like stuff his movement. And then he's like able to get that strong Cascade spot where he's like, all right, I have a mix-up now. I can sort of read what you're going to do to react. And then he punishes that with, you know, a back air or a grab, whatever it is. Whatever the appropriate response is. We have a 1-1 battle.
All right. And now we're on a different stage.
Yeah, they both won. They both won there, so they can't go back, right? Unless
Thankfully.
they agreed to it.
They, who knows with these Puffs, man?
Who knows?
Maybe they just want to play Dreamland forever.
Yeah, in this matchup, this stage is Puff favored.
Okay, now we're seeing more Nair.
Yeah, and you can, I mean, we saw Cascade using it to pretty good effect in the later stocks in that last game. That's really what was
they remembered
contesting the up air. Yeah, and Aperture's using it himself. And now you see another little adjustment from Cascade that was so cool. He does like a little serpentine in the air because Aperture's been doing most of his damage has been coming from this spot where Cascade feels like he has to come in when he's on the outside because he wants to get some solid stage position. That time, Cascade drifts in. It's almost like a dash dance. And then he comes back. He just pulls back just enough that the back air whiffs, then he's able to get a back air of his own.
Puff's aerial drift is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I would die for that type of aerial drift.
You can do so many weird things that nobody else can really do. Like an aerial dash dance is a good way of describing it.
That's what that... It was really a feint. He feinted him in the air.
You absolutely can do that with Puff, and it's amazing. H-Box gets so much off of that stuff.
Yeah.
Man's a genius. But anyways.
Yep.
Okay, another up smash.
Lands behind his shield, and so I guess he's known as Aperture when he's in shield, especially when he's feeling pressured in shield, like when he can't grab or doesn't feel safe with the roll. He prefers to jump out. I mean, that makes sense if you're a Puff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's gotten a read several times where he's been able to up smash and out of shield option.
Yeah, he's done that a number of times. I feel like both of these Puffs haven't really been wave dashing out of shield as Cascade immediately wave dashes out of shield.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid option, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty quick.
They've just been rolling and jumping out of shield for the most part.
And
but Puff's wave dash out of shield, I love it personally. Wave dash out of shield backwards, like F smash on like, maybe not Puff, but other characters.
It also has the benefit of like, since you're mostly crouching, Puff is a pretty low profile already. It gets even lower when you do the wave dash. So you're often going to be able to dodge like a short hop back air if it's spaced pretty far away.
All right, slight lead from Aperture. Kind of like watch that, the end of that last stock.
Yeah, so we can see there the equivalent of what happens. How do I put this? The equivalent of what happens in any other like movement-based matchup, like a Marth or a Fox or a Falcon, when you try to do a stutter step and then you go shallow. Aperture dash dance is really far back, and it would take something akin to an overshoot in order for Cascade to be able to punish that. So that time, Aperture fades really far away. It's almost like going past your dash dance range into the run. in order to bait Cascade's aerial, and he ends up getting the punish there. And that's why he has 78% on the stock.
Yep.
It all came from that one first interaction where he was able to put Cascade in an uncomfortable position.
There's also something about, it seems like Cascade's almost overextending a lot of the time with trying to get this kill. And I feel like I've been seeing that the whole set in a way that I don't know if Aperture... See, look, Aperture's playing a little more conservatively.
Yes,
like when
yes.
he picks and chooses his spots better in terms of where to, just when to, like, attack. And Cascade kind of just, like, throws out a whole bunch of aerials, and I feel like Aperture has been able to recover because of that, like, really well. Like, he was able to live to 145 because he would just, like, go around all of Cascade's, like, fairs and up airs and all that.
Yeah, so in, like, any matchup in Melee, it's really important to recognize when you transition from the neutral game into the punish game. Now, there's not a hard punish game in the Puff Ditto. It's very rare you're going to string multiple aerials together. But I think Cascade is struggling. Like, throwing out all these aerials has been pretty good in the true neutral when they're both near the ground or whatever. But in this situation where it's like a soft punish game for Cascade, he's playing it almost the same way. And I think right then, you're not the one who has to make a move. There's no mix-up there. What you need to do is play a strong positional game and really rack up the damage on Aperture. You need to play the percentages over and over again so that you end up with a damage advantage, and then you convert that into stocks, and then before you know it, you end up winning the game. There's a lot of neutral interactions. So if you can get multiple hits off of a neutral interaction because your position is better, that's
another up smash.
Yeah, Cascade.
He's gotten a lot. Like, that was that Serpentine up smash again. It was a weirder situation because Aperture was mid-air approaching. But I guess he did it on purpose because he knew he was going to keep coming towards him so he could get that up smash.
Yeah, so what's really cool about it, I thought, is Cascade did that thing that Puffs like to do. If you just take a Puff, you've seen it 1,000 times. The Puff jumps towards you, starts drifting. You're like, oh no, I'm going to get hit. And then they do an aerial and they move away.
Yep.
That was an empty hop. There was no aerial from Cascade. He jumped towards Aperture, and then he drifts away. With no aerial lag, he just goes to the up smash immediately. And I bet Aperture thought he was going to drift even farther away. Since he didn't drift farther away, it was almost like putting out a walling move. And even if it traded, it's a kill, so it's great. So it's a good move by Cascade. That said, he lost the game.
Yep. He immediately, during that, he just got up aired.
Yeah, I
feel like that's been most of the kills have been up air, up smash. I haven't really seen much else, actually.
I mean, it's been up smash from Cascade and up air from
Yep.
Aperture, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Aperture's positional savvy has put him on top.
I agree. He definitely has the positional savvy. I mean, it goes back to, kills. He's not really reaching. He knows what he's doing in the matchup more in some sense.
Yeah.
But Cascade also has, a bunch of stuff. It feels like he's just a little antsier. I think that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, that definitely is. And, that's his game. He knows his strength as a player has to do with sort of forcing an interaction, which is not easy to do in a Puff Ditto. And that's why this matchup can be difficult for him. That's what's so cool about this game. They're playing the same character, and the character matchup is even. But the player playstyle matchup
I would say it favors Aperture.
It does.
Sure.
Even if their skill was exactly equal, Aperture would win, right?
Yeah.
And, well, most of the time. It's always percentages,
Yep. It's favorable.
Yeah, favorable, exactly. Yep. So it's like a 12-10 matchup in favor of positional Puff.
I agree. This is definitely a 12-10.
Yeah, this is a 12.
Before I was talking about Marta, it was 40-40.
Yeah.
And then, I was talking to you about that.
I said 70-70.
70-70, depending on the Marth.
Yeah. Well, I might have rested him. I'll be honest, right there. Or, up smash. We've seen 1,000 up smashes from Cascade. I'm surprised he didn't get another one there.
Yep.
Up smash out of shield. Wow, that forward smash, probably not on purpose,
I wonder if we're going to see any rests from these guys. Neither of them have really, it's a huge risk since you can get punished with the best rest punish in the game. Rest.
Yeah. And, I mean, really, there's not that many rest setups for Jigglypuff.
Yeah, there are a couple times where I felt like there are a couple things that were restable, but I might just be, like that.
Don't rest it, though.
Yeah, don't rest it, though, apparently.
Yeah, because if you do, then they'll punish you with a rest. And although maybe Aperture probably would have got KO'd by it. But using the up smash really smart, so you don't get to you don't give your opponent a rest punish as well. And Aperture again has the lead. We're gonna have to see some of the Cascade magic.
I feel like it could be advantageous depending, because then, in theory, you could just keep rest punishing each other over and over again. But the person who had the stock advantage first would win that. So I feel like the Puffs really don't do that.
No.
And I guess because of that, they don't really go for rest in general, just because it's
I mean, like last stock, if there's an air dodge punish or something, it makes
Yeah.
sense. But what if the puff like doesn't die?
Yeah.
Can you imagine
What if
that?
you miss and get rested?
Exactly.
There's
It's
so
like-
many risks involved.
Yeah, you have to know.
Yep.
You have to be very
You have to be
confident.
100% sure.
Wow, that back air was so safe. And look, he did like a little drift away, little stutter step, little dash dance, if you will. Now this is the spot where
See, that's what I'm
Aperture
talking
begins.
about. Like he's just like kind of. It seems like almost aimlessly throwing out that back air.
And so here's the thing is like he's going into that spot. Remember that strong diagonal position you mentioned with the back air?
Yes.
Cascade's putting himself on the wrong end of that by sort of jumping next to him. You need to like put yourself in a spot where you're under him, or as the other puff falls, you quickly jump and gain that position for yourself. And Cascade's had a hard time doing that.
Yeah, it's had a hard time
and you
doing
can see right there, that's the same position. Aperture takes advantage of being slightly higher, uses the forward air to beat a back air that time. That's how strong that spot is for Puff. And see how good Aperture is at that? Baits out a little, because
He gets a lot more in his face too. You know, he's kind of like.
But he's still outside of his range is the important part. So if Cascade does anything, it's a hit. If he doesn't, Aperture still is the stage position.
Yeah, exactly.
It's high reward, low risk, frankly. Not even medium. Low risk, high reward.
Yeah, I would say so.
So definitely just the best way to play. Unless you have, the hard read. The hard read is always good.
Hard read's the best.
Ooh, I thought we were going to see another up smash out of shield. I think he was scared
I
to do
agree.
it. Yep, there's a drill grab.
Yep.
Aperture looking pretty good. And look, he's got himself in that favorable, like that soft punish situation.
And he's doing a really good job of keeping Cascade out. Not that roll, but.
And there's like also these
that.
little moments where like it feels like Aperture really recognizes when he's at the disadvantage. Like see right there, he got to the ground second, and he knows that if he doesn't jump first, he won't be able to find himself in that favorable position. So
that
he
was
just
the
holds his
weirdest
shield.
trade,
Yeah, very
by
strange.
the way.
I think it was like pound back air or
Yep.
something. Yeah.
So they both went flying to the side.
Still alive.
Oh, okay.
Good DI.
See, this is a situation where Cascade getting a rest would be amazing.
What-
Because
does
he's
it
at
kill at
such
ze-
a bad position.
Does it kill at 0? He got the rest.
Wow, he actually-
The rest master.
Oh, but he did-
He's gonna die.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh, maybe I was wrong.
I was like, does not kill at 0. He needs like 8
Yeah,
back
maybe-
air, 2 back airs.
Okay, so more percent than that, but that was definitely the rest to go for. Had it been just a little more, it was still a sick rest out of shield. I was talking to Cascade about Dark before, speaking of Puffs who rest out of shield. That guy's a legend.
If there is